A very good afternoon and welcome to all my dear accountancy students. This is Professor Shaurya Shah welcoming you all to my lecture. Dear students, in the last lecture we solved many of the sums, fine. Again I gave you the practice sums list also. Apart from that, I told you that solutions will be provided on your 20th of July, right? That is Monday's lecture. I hope you all must have started solving that sums also, fine. So today we'll be solving around 4 sums out of that practice sums which I have given, which I thought that there are some new points in there so that it will be helpful to you to solve. Those who have solved can compare it. Again, those who have not solved, you can learn from these points, fine. So one of them was question number 15 that was yet to be solved, fine. So we'll be starting with the sums quickly. First we'll read the sum and understand it, and then we will start to solve it. Fine. What is it about, students? The question is in front of you. You all must have again seen it. 2 years are given, right? This is BNSDU 2005, but a good sum to be found out, a different type of sum, right? Year 2002, 2003 is given, 2003, 2004 is given, right? So in short, you have 2 years, 2002 and 2003. What amount is given? Sales is given 4,50,000, opening stock is given 75,000 and purchases is given 3 lakh, right? So all the three amounts you are having for particular 2002 year. For 2003, 2004, sales is given, opening stock is missing and purchase is given, not given, right, students? So what you need to find out here is, again, find out material turnover ratio for the year 2002, 2003. For this year, you need to find out material turnover ratio, and you need to find out the question mark which is given in the sum, that is opening stock for the year 2003, 2004, right? So again, how you are gonna calculate it? One of the information they have given is rate of gross profit is 33 1/3% on cost, right, students? So 33 1/3, and the second thing they have given is closing stock is 12.5 percentage of purchases, right? So for the year here I can find out the closing stock, definitely yes, right? And then I need to find out the cost of goods sold also, that is my adjusted purchase, because I'm not having anywhere in the sum, fine. So we shall begin with the first information which is already given, and then we can start with the rest of the calculation part, right? So what is being given? I am knowing one thing, closing stock is 12.5% of purchases, right? So I can say for the year 2002, 2003, my closing stock will be closing stock is equals to purchase into 12.5%, right? Whatever they have given, I have taken it. So closing stock will be, purchases is my 3 lakh rupees. So 3 lakh into 12.5%, students, right? So 3 lakh into 12.5% gives me, it gives me the amount of 37,500 rupees, students, right? So what is my amount of closing stock? It is your 37,500 rupees. Hope it's clear to each and everyone, fine. So I can say, students, from the last lecture itself you must have learned, I gave you one point, that is closing stock of last year, closing stock of 2002-3 is equals to opening stock of 2003-4, right? Closing stock of last year is opening stock of current year, right? So that is 37,500 rupees. The answer which I was having, that is question mark. So out of your two answers, one I have calculated, right? So simple thing. Out of your 4 mark sum, you have calculated 1.5 or 2 marks, fine. Now moving ahead, what is the second thing they have asked is to find out the material turnover ratio for 2002-3. Now for material turnover ratio, students, as you all know, we need two things. One is cost of goods sold and second is average stock, right? So average stock I can calculate. Why? Because opening stock and closing stock I am having for a particular year, right? So I will start with the average stock to find out how much my average stock will be, right? So again, writing down for the year 2002 and 3, for the year 2002-3, you will have the amount of average stock is equals to opening plus closing. Remember to write down formula every time. Opening plus closing divide by 2. So what is my opening stock, dear students? It is 75,000. What is my closing stock? 37,500 divided by 2, right? Find out the amount. 75,000 plus 37,500 divided by 2. So my amount comes to 56,250 rupees, right? That is my average stock. I hope no doubt in that part, right? So what is my average stock, dear students? Average stock is 56,250 rupees. Now the second thing I need to find out is your, I can say, cost of goods sold for a particular year, right? So what will be my cost of goods sold? Again, cost of goods sold you can find out on the basis of this information also, right? What is it? That is rate of gross profit is 33 1/3% on cost. But another my mind goes is I can directly find out from the formula, right? Why to go in such complicated calculations? So what I'll do is I'll just put up in the formula cost of goods sold is equals to, so my cost of goods sold is equals to, I can say, opening stock plus purchases less closing stock. This is for the year 2002-3. Remember, students, right? So for the year 2002-3, opening stock plus purchase minus closing stock. What is my opening stock? Quickly, it is 75,000. What is my purchase? 3 lakh. What is my closing stock? 37,500, right? So if you calculate this amount, you will get the amount of 3,37,500. 3,37,500 is the cost of goods sold, right? So this is one of the point. Now I'll explain you another point also. What is given, right? It is up to you what type of calculation you are expert into. If you are taking this information also as base, right? So what is rate of GP is 33 1/3% on cost. So why it is given, students, in the question to find out again cost of goods sold. Suppose I assume that my cost is 100 rupees. My cost is 100 rupees, right? So what is given in the question? They have given gross profit is 33 1/3% on cost, right? Now always remember, whenever 33 1/3% is given, take only 1/3, right? So again, 1/3 of 100, 1/3 of 100 is equals to 33.33 rupees, right? You can calculate it on calculator. 1/3 of 100 is always 33.33 rupees, right? So what I can say is, if I add cost plus GP, so 133.33 rupees will be my sales. Is it clear? So 133.33 rupees is sales, right? I am calculating what is given in the question so that you are not confused with why information is given, right? So sales I am having is 133.33 rupees. So for the year 2002-3, if my sales is 133.33, that is given in the question 4,50,000 rupees, right? So if my 133.33 rupees is my sales, my cost is 100. So if my sales given is 4,50,000 rupees, how much will be my cost, right? So I'll calculate 4,50,000 into 100 divided by 133.33, right? So my answer comes to 3,37,500 rupees, right? So that is the same answer which we calculated with the help of formula. But if you are not clear with the formulas, you can find out alternative, right? Learn students, this all things are formula based, so either of the way you calculate, but your answer should remain the same. Fine, hope it is clear. So 3,37,500. Fine. So now we are having both the answers, so we can calculate the stock turnover ratio or inventory turnover ratio is equals to cost of goods sold upon average stock. So cost of goods sold is 337,500 divided by my average stock was 56,250, right? So 337 divided by 56,250 gives me the answer of 6 times. Is it clear, all of you, right? So my stock turnover ratio comes to 6 times. Many a students, you take here directly 133.33, right? So your answer will come in, there are chances that your answer will come in points. Fine. So not exact answer. So what is the better practice? When you multiply this in calculator, 4,50,000 into 100 divided by 133.3333, right? Just go up to the last decimal, then you will get the exact answer of 337,500. Many genius students will also get confusion in this, right? Because the answer will not come to be exact, but you need to calculate it and you need to multiply it. Fine. Hope it is clear. Fine. So this was the first sum which I wanted to again solve in the class, right? So that is question number 15 of our list which I have given. Fine. Hope it is clear to each and every student. 5 seconds. If you are left out, you can copy the sum down, and if you are done, you can revise your sum, how we calculated it. Then we'll start with the next sum. Hope it is clear to each and every student. Fine. Now starting with the next sum, students, this is your VNSGU 2015, right? What you have been given, you have to calculate inventory turnover ratio and turnover period. Opening stock is given, purchases are annual, and adjusted purchase is given to you, students, right? So what you need to simply calculate here is two things. The first is your purchases, that is annual purchases, that is given already, and you need to find out stock turnover ratio and turnover period, right? The main thing why I chose this sum is there is a mistake in university sum, that is printing mistake, right? Here what they have given is your 10,000 units. So if you have tried, you will never be able to achieve this kind of answers, right? Because every information is given in your rupees and this is given in units, right? So again same typing error came into the list also. So this is your rupees. Now it is easy for you to calculate the sum. Fine. As usual, we'll be calculating with the help of cost of goods sold, that is adjusted purchase, right? So I'll start with the answer immediately. Cost of goods sold is equals to opening stock plus purchase minus closing stock, right? Carefully take here rupees. So opening stock I am having first of all the cost of goods sold, that is my adjusted purchase. Again and again I am telling, opening stock 10,000 plus purchase 85,000 minus closing stock I don't know, right? So what I'll do is right hand side and left hand side I'll calculate 75,000 minus 10,000, right, is equals to 85,000 minus closing. So ultimately my closing will come this side, and if I solve this, it is your 65 and 85,000, right? So my closing stock comes to 85 minus 65,000, that is 20,000 rupees. Hope it is clear to each and every student, right? So 20,000 rupees is my closing stock. I can easily get now my inventory turnover ratio, right? So I'll find out inventory turnover ratio is nothing, students, but it is your stock turnover ratio, the another name for it, right? So stock turnover ratio is equals to cost of goods sold upon average stock. Cost of goods sold, the answer you are having, how much it is? 75,000. Average stock we have not calculated, but directly you can do it. 10,000 plus 20,000 gives me 30,000 divided by 2. So it will be 15,000 rupees, right? So what answer I'll be getting is 75,000 divided by 15 is 15 fives. So 15 times is my stock turnover ratio, right? So 15 times is my 5 times is my stock turnover ratio, and this is the first answer which they have asked, right? Calculate inventory turnover ratio. Hope it is clear to every student. Fine. Moving on to the next period, right? Here you can find it out in bracket if you want. For your understanding, I am writing 10,000 plus 20,000 divided by 2 so that you can clearly understand. Fine. Next is you need to find out what the turnover period, right? Turnover period, as you all have studied in the last lecture itself, I gave you the formula. What is turnover period? You can write down stock or inventory turnover period or material turnover period, one and the same. Stock turnover period is equals to 365 upon STR, that is the ratio which you have found out. So 365 divided by 5 gives me the answer of 73 days. Is it clear? So how much is my turnover period? 73 days. So on an average I can say on 73 days completion my stock is turned over, right? Is it clear to all the students? 5 seconds. You can note this down if you have not yet completed. Then we'll be starting with the next sum. Okay, I suppose it is done. All the students are completed with that part. Fine. Next is your question number 18, right? This question again is, I have given you two type of these questions, right? In that the very first is VNSGU 2014 question number 18 of our sequence, right? What is being given, students? A simple logic is to be understood, a very short sum, but many students get confused in the information which is given, right? So opening stock is 90,000, closing stock is 72,000, purchases are 7 lakh, right? So purchases you are having are 7 lakh. Only line which confuses the students is, as per the general instruction and tradition of the company, stock level is recorded at 10% less than its cost, right? 10% less than its cost means, what do you understand by that, right? And read carefully. Stock level is recorded at 10% less than its cost, right? So what amount you are having of opening and closing is 10% less, students. Remember always, purchases can never be less, right? Always make in mind clear the concept. Purchases, we are directly purchasing it from other person, so the value remains the same. But opening stock and closing stock, there is policy of certain companies to show it less or show it more. So what you need to do is, before calculating the ratio, right? So before calculating the ratio, you need to find out first the actual value of it. Fine. So what I'll do is, actual value you need to find out. Understand very carefully, the next sum also is based on the same concept. Opening stock, if this 90,000, can I say if it is shown 10% less value, then it is shown at 90%. Closing stock also, students, it will be shown at 10% less, then it is shown at 90%. First and the foremost thing, right? It is shown at 10% less, so 90%. So can I say if 90%, right? Can I say if 90% is 90,000 rupees, how much 100% will be? So I'll get the actual answer of 1 lakh rupees opening stock. Only crux in this sum is this part, right? And can I say if 90% is 72,000 rupees, how much will be my 100%? So 100 into 72,000 divided by 90 is equals to 80,000 rupees closing stock. Getting it, right? So first calculate the actual value. Always your ratios are calculated at cost, right? So whatever the case is, first you need to find out the cost for it. Is it clear? Now what is to be finding out, right? You have to find out stock turnover ratio in this sum. So same concept, same things, everything remains the same. We'll find out first the average stock. Average stock is opening plus closing divided by 2. My opening stock is 1 lakh. Take the new values. Don't get mistaken in taking the old values. Many genius students will directly find out the information, that is directly 90 plus 72 divide by 2, and you will get the answer for it, right? Why this line is given? It is not given for again decoration purpose, right? So you need to calculate it. 1 lakh plus 80,000 divided by 2. So your average stock comes to 90,000. You need to find out cost of goods sold also. What is cost of goods sold? Opening plus purchase minus closing stock. Opening plus purchase minus closing stock. Opening is 1 lakh plus purchase is your 7 lakh minus closing stock is 72,000, right? So what I'll get is, I'll get the answer of material consumed, right? Here again, see, I have also committed the same mistake purposefully. So what is it? 1 lakh plus 70,000, 7 lakh plus 80,000. Is it clear? So you will get the answer, students, is of 7,20,000 rupees. Fine. So what is it? 7,20,000 and average stock is my 90,000. 7,20,000 is my cost of goods sold. What I'll do is I'll put up in the formula at the last to find out what they have asked. Stock turnover ratio is equals to COGS upon average stock is equals to 7,20,000 divided by your how much? 90,000, right? So 7,20,000 divided by 90,000 gives me the answer of 8 times. So what is my answer? 8 times is my stock turnover ratio, right? So this is asked in your exam, that is stock turnover ratio is equals to 8 times final answer. 3 marks, students, right? If you are clear with the concept, you can quickly complete this sum in 5 minutes. Otherwise, you can be stuck up in thinking what is given. Fine. Now, I hope everyone is clear with this sum. Next sum also I have given the same. Only information I have changed is stock is recorded at 25% more, right? So never mind. If it is more, always remember the concept. If it is less, 100 minus percentage. If it is more, 100 plus percentage, right? So next sum, for example, it is given 25% more. So 100 plus 25 is 125. So whatever value is given is shown at 125, right? So if 125 is this much, 100 will be how much? And the new value you will be calculating. Always remember, if it is, the word is more is plus, and if it is less is minus. Hope it is clear to each and every student. Fine. Clear with all these sums. Now the next and the last sum for today is your calculating EOQ, because I needed to solve this kind of sum because 1 or 2 points may again stuck you up, so that we solve this in the lecture. Fine. So the next sum, you can read it. What is being given in the sum? It is, students, calculate EOQ and how many orders during the year will be placed up, right? So in that you have been given the very first thing, that is bi-monthly consumption, right? Now many students again get stuck up here only. What is bi-monthly consumption? It is the consumption for 2 months, right? Now if you see the formula, students, it is always your annual consumption. So under root 2AO upon CP, right? So that is your, again we can say, the bi-monthly consumption. You will need to convert it into annual consumption, right? One more information is given here which I missed out, that is your per unit cost of storage. Per unit cost of storage is also given 10%, right? So that you need to find out. So we'll be starting with the sum, right? What is been given in the sum, you have to find out first the annual consumption, right? So convert your bi-monthly consumption. How much is bi-monthly consumption? It is 1500 units. So if I ask you what will be annual consumption, annual consumption will be 1500 units into 12. Not at all. It is 1500 units into 6 months, right? Why it is bi-monthly? So for 2 months if it is 1500 units, for 12 months it will be how much? That can also be done, or otherwise genius people directly multiply this 1500 with your 6 months, right? And I suppose everyone is genius in the class. So 9000 units is my annual consumption, which is required for your calculation of your EOQ. Hope it is clear to each and every student. Fine. So now I am having the again consumption, that is annual. Always I am having the cost per unit also. I am having the percentage also, right? I suppose it is clear to each and every student. Fine. So we'll put up in the formula of EOQ. Now here the percentage is also given, right? So there will be a change in our formula which we generally take 2AO upon C into P, right? The P also we generally take. So putting up in your formula under root 2 into annual consumption 9000 into annual consumption 9000 into cost of placing an order, that is ordering cost, O is my 400 divided by C into P, right? So C I am having in percentage, right? So what you need to do is you need to write down here, that is 10% into 200. 10% into 200. So when I solve this, my answer comes to 2 into 90,000 into 400, right? So 2 into 90,000 divided by 400 divided by 20. So 36, fine. So my answer comes to actually 600 units, right? So my answer comes to 600 units, I can say. Is it clear? Fine. Any doubts in this part to all the students? 2 into 9000 into 400. Okay. Is it clear? So 600 units is the answer which I am getting. So the very first answer they have asked is your EOQ. I hope it is clear. Fine. Next thing you are having is to find out the number of orders to be placed, right? So how many number of orders to be placed? How can you calculate number of orders? Number of orders to be placed is equals to, how you calculate number of orders to be placed? Annual usage, right? That is annual consumption divided by EOQ. Annual consumption divided by EOQ, right? What is my annual consumption, students? We found out 9000, right? So remember, if your annual consumption you have calculated is incorrect, your EOQ will also be incorrect and your number of orders will also be incorrect, right? So 9000 divided by 600 gives me the answer of 15 times. So my answer comes to 15 times, students, right? Hope it is clear to each and everyone. Fine. So I have calculated EOQ and 15 times. The important thing here was to find out the bi-monthly consumption into, right? Suppose it is monthly, convert it into 12, into multiply by 12. Suppose it is 6 monthly, convert into 2. But always remember the formula is annual consumption. So if you commit a mistake here, then your sum will be incorrect, right? I hope it is clear to each and every student. So this was the set of sums which I needed. Now all the rest practice sums are easy. Whatever we have computed in the sum, in the lectures, you can easily see the sums and you can take a reference from that and you can calculate, right? Answers I'll provide you on Monday, that is 20th July. I'll provide you only the answers so that you can compare it. Fine. Hope it is clear. So this was all from your material costing number 1 chapter. Fine. After we completed the theory chapter of introduction to costing, this is the part. Fine. From the next lecture onwards, right, that is on Monday, I'll start with the second part of this chapter, material costing, right? You are having various kinds of methods to be studied, that is LIFO, FIFO, weighted average method for calculating the inflow and outflow of your materials. Fine. Again, a very easy chapter based upon the bin card which we have studied in the last lecture. So again it will be easy for you, right? So till then just practice this chapter and complete it so that you are very much clear with this part. Fine. I hope it is clear to each and every student. Any doubts, any queries you can put up in Google Classroom. We are there to help you out. So this is Professor Shaurya Shah taking your leaves, teaching you advanced accounting and auditing paper 1, that is costing. Have a good day ahead, students. Study hard, practice more and learn more. Fine. Take care. See you in the next lecture, students.